Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the McGonagall Boxing Podcast. Let's get straight down to it, shall we? So it's fight week, it's a huge fight. It's the WBO middleweight championship of the world. It's Liam Williams, it's Demetrius Andrade. Who is going to win? Well, we know it's in the States, we know it's in Florida. So is the humid heat going to play a part? Maybe not in April so much, but obviously instantly you'd go, okay, home territory for Demetrius Andrade, but he hasn't got a huge following, has he? He's not like a patriotic fighter like a Ricky Hatton or a Turigati maybe that is going to really make a home advantage pay, or Joshua even. So I'm not concerned too much about that. I think Dominic Ingle's brilliant. He's got Williams out there early to climatise, to train properly. And we know Williams is a war horse. We know he trains hard. So I don't think that's going to be a huge factor. It's a real pick and fight. And I have a lot of respect for Demetrius Andrade. But he's gone a year and a half without fighting, which is going to be a big thing. How much inactivity is that going to play? And styles make fights, and we know Demetrius Andrade's style might just play straight into Liam Williams' hand. I want to break it down and just talk about the strengths and weaknesses of both fighters. So for me, Demetrius Andrade is a very, very slick southpaw, but he can also switch stance. You can see him, he can lead with the right hand as well as the left. He can punch with both as well. I've seen him floor people with the right hand, the right hook, as well as the left. Beautiful jab, long levers on him. Gangly, tall, as he's 6'1" for middleweight, that's tall. But I don't think he's got concussive power. He stings you with it, and obviously the jab, the left hand sets you up. And like I say, he can switch stance, a bit like Crawford, which makes him awkward. And expect that in this fight. I fully expect him to switch stance around the midway range, and it all depends how Williams deals with that. Now, Kell Brook couldn't deal with that when Crawford did it to him, but I believe if one fighter can, it's going to be an Ingle fighter, isn't it? Who are used to stance, switch stances, unorthodox style. Liam Williams had a good look at them kind of fighters. So, and especially for Dominic Ingle in his corner, I think he'll be able to adapt. But expect a stance change from Demetrius Andrade as Williams starts getting on top of him early doors. I really believe that. I think he'll go from southpaw to orthodox. But yeah, so just looking at Liam Williams and Demetrius Andrade's stance. Now, Williams has obviously been out the ring a little bit as well, but he, to his credit, he was a little bit more active than Demetrius. I mean, he's fought once last year, which probably just keep his eye in. That was obviously a KO win over Andrew Robinson, who shouldn't really have been in that ring with Williams, a British level fighter. He's always going to clean his clock, but the most impressive, and I was there watching it, was how he dealt with Atlanta Fox. Now, I'm not saying he's as skilled as Demetrius Andrade, but he's a slick fighter, similar build, similar height, similar reach. Again, southpaw, rangy, and I just saw Williams beat him up. And that's exactly what he's got to do to Demetrius Andrade. If Demetrius Andrade's thinking was Williams who was, nervous in many ways, unsure of himself, kind of a bit standoffish against Liam Smith, then he's in for a rude awakening. This is not the same fighter. He's completely different moving up in weight. He's got a new tactic, he's got a new confidence, new aura about him, and he's got more power. He carries more damage. Now, obviously, the first fight against Liam Smith doesn't really count. It was an injury, retired, but obviously he's been edged out in a close fight, but in a fight where he's a little bit unsure, a bit inexperienced, and this was 4 years ago now. Didn't have the right tacticians. Now I think he smashes Liam Williams, and now he's moved up to British middle, less weight drained, and he's on a roll, isn't he? He's won the last 7 on a bounce. He's confident. He knows what he needs to do. He knows how to fight. He knows how to get the best out of himself. And Dominic Ingle knows that as well now. He's going to breathe on Andrade's chest. He's going to walk him down. He's not going to do what Cole Frampton did against Herring and allowed Herring to get off at range. He's going to close that distance, and he's going to rough Demetrius Andrade up on the inside. Now, Demetrius Andrade's a slick fighter, and I'm sure he thinks he's got the answer to this. And if it's a long-range fight, there's only one winner. We know that's Demetrius Andrade. He's got the slick boxing skills, but has he got the heart? Can he deal? Has he got the cardio? Can he deal with relentless pressure? Someone on his chest, pounding him, backing him up. I'm not sure he can. Now, he's 29-0 for a reason, so, he's got slick skills, and I think he's going to catch Williams at times, but I just think Williams is not going to freeze this time. He's not going to run out of ideas or be unsure of himself against, like Liam Smith. That was probably the making of him in many ways. Now he knows who he is. He knows how to fight to get the best of himself. And how is he going to fight when someone's putting it on him? So many fights you watch with Demetrius Andrade, people make the mistake, they let him fight at his pace, at range, and he just picks them apart. Very slick with his jab to the head, to the body. And then obviously, when they think they're starting to get a read on that, he'll do them with a hook, a right-hand hook, and he'll switch stance. But that's all at distance, all at his own pace. Liam Williams makes you fight his pace. He did that to Fox, and that was impressive. Now, you're looking through Demetrius Andrade's resume. He hasn't beat anyone of any note, has he? I mean, the decision he won, which is a fairly decent win to win the title, the WBO title. I mean, it's not that impressive. I mean, he's fought Alante Fox. He got a unanimous decision win over that. Liam Williams murdered Alante Fox in 6 rounds. He beat, obviously, Kawanka for the title. Again, a hard-fought point victory. Decent win, but again, he hasn't really beat any. Brian Rose for the super welterweight title. Fair play, but I mean, these guys aren't elite for me. They aren't A-level fighters. They're not bringing it like Liam Williams is going to bring it. And I think Liam Williams is an elite middleweight now. I really do. And yes, this what makes this fight so interesting is some people are saying, well, Williams hasn't fought anyone of elite level like Andrade, and he hasn't. And when he did step up to world level 4 years ago, he lost to Liam Smith. Yes, but that's completely different. Some fighters improve, and I believe Williams is one of them. I think he's in his prime now. And Andrade at 33, he's been inactive for nearly a year and a half. There's questions. And I don't think he's fought anyone elite either. This is what makes it so intriguing. How much hunger has Andrade got? Maybe he wants to win this fight more than ever, to make himself a big name, to get that Golovkin fight. And fair play to him if he does. But there's so many questions to be answered. I'm not sure Andrade can keep Williams off. And I'm not sure he's got the gas to fight at Williams' relentless pace. We know Williams can do that for 12 rounds. We've seen that. We know Ingle gets his fighters in tremendous shape. And you're looking at a prime fighter here with Liam Williams. He's not washed up. He's not 33, 34. He's 28 years old. And he's hungry. He's a hungry lion, and he's angry. He's angry that he lost out to that world title against Liam Smith 4 years ago due to, freezing it in some ways, wrong tactics, wasn't conditioned really, and he kind of, he would have won that fight, but he's tied down the home straight. I don't see that now. I see relentless pressure from the word go, a confident fighter in his prime. He's won 7 on the bounce, looked brilliant against Fox, really cleaned his clock. And I just think he's going to get to Andrade. I think Andrade will have his moments. Of course he will. He's a class fighter. The only way I see Andrade beating him is if cuts. We know Williams can cut in his previous fight, so if he gets a horrendous cut and the ref has to stop it 6-7 rounds in and Andrade wins on point, I hope that isn't the case. I hope, I'm sure he will have a really good cut man, Williams, for this fight to stop that being a major factor. And the second one is if he can't deal with the stance change that's going to come. There's no question it's going to come when he switches from southpaw to orthodox. Brook couldn't handle it against Crawford. Some fighters can't. And, that's going to be a big thing. A great fighter like Roberto Duran couldn't handle it when Ray Leonard did it to him. So some fighters cannot adapt. I just think, though, Williams will adapt. I think Ingle's going to get him ready for that. He studied him. And let's be honest, the Ingle fighters are unorthodox, so he's going to have plenty of looks at that. So I don't think it's going to be a factor, but I think it will be a closer fight when he does switch stance. But I just think Williams will do enough early doors, hurt Andrade to the body, and just kind of hold on really towards the later rounds. And I think it'll be a close one. I could see it maybe being 7-5 or even 8-4. But I think as long as the judges are fair and score it correctly, and there's no huge controversy, and Williams doesn't get badly cut on that eye, which has happened in the past, I think he wins it 8-4, possibly 7-5. And I think we've got a new prime WBO champion of the world, and I think it'll be due to inactivity and Andrade not fighting the elite, and fighters have put him under this amount of pressure. When has it ever happened? It hasn't happened. Whereas Williams, yes, he's lost, but he's been in wars. He knows what to expect. He's been up, he's been down. He's hardened. He's ready. He's in his prime. And I think he beats Andrade. And I think he beats him on points. Unanimous decision.